Stop on the $5 million 31-race Busch Grand National Tour for 1992. Today's Speedway coverage of the Budweiser 250 is being brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. With that clean, crisp, cold taste, nothing beats a Bud. By Quaker Steak, the Big Q is one tough motor oil. And by Suzuki, your Suzuki dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. And the cars have rolled onto the racetrack after approximately a 1-hour delay due to rain. They have rolled the cars off, and they will let these machines dry the track as they climb the 36-degree bankings here on this half-mile facility. Let's take a look at our die-hard starting grid. Brand new track record for Butch Miller, 29 years of age. Coopersville, Michigan driver at 121.267 miles per hour. Beside him, a 20-year-old Jeff Gordon from Pittsburgh, Indiana, in the Baby Ruth Ford. Back to row 2. Mr. Excitement, they call him, Jimmy Spencer from Berwick, Pennsylvania, the Food City-sponsored Chevrolet. And a young man fresh from the 5th place finish last week at Darlington, Todd Bodine. Back to rows 3 and 4. Joe Nemechek, who did a lot of testing up here on the Goodyear tires, and Jimmy Hensley looking for his first win of the 1992 season. Mike Wallace, his first ever visit to this racetrack. Yes, he's the younger brother of Rusty Wallace. And Bobby Doddard, he's on the Hoosier tires. Watch for him to have a good run today. Rows 5 and 6, Jeff Green, Ward Burton, he won at Rockingham earlier in the year. Tommy Houston, his 305th consecutive start. And Bobby Labonte, the defending champion of this Bud 250. Back to row 7, Jeff Burton and Robert Presley, the young man who won last week at Darlington. He will start 14th. Row 8, Tracy Leslie and Rick Mast. Back to row 9, a pretty potent row 9, Dale Jarrett, a winner here last August. And Harry Gant always runs well here, but has never won in Busch Series racing at Bristol. Row 10, Davey Allison, along with the young sophomore driver, Richard Lassiter. Back to row 11, Clifford Allison. What a great run he had here last year, finishing 6th in the Clint Folsom car. Kenny Wallace is the young man who is currently our point leader. Back to row 12, Chuck Bound, looking for his first short track win of the season. And Steve Grissom, yes, he'd like to get back in the win column himself. Row 13, Tom Peck, and Dick Trickle driving for Ted Condor in the Pontiac. He had a tremendous effort last week at Darlington. Row 14, Kenny Schrader subbing for Ernie Irvin, and Mike Porter in the car number 35. And Ricky Craven in the car number 99 starts 29th on the field, the 25-year-old driver in the DuPont Chevrolet. As they continue to try to dry the track, we'll take this break from Bristol International Raceway as the clouds have parted and the sun is coming out. Busch Racing after this. We welcome you back to Bristol, Tennessee, Bristol International Raceway. We are 2 laps away from getting the green flag for this Budweiser 250. Let's take a look at Larry Carrier's beautiful half-mile facility. 0.533-mile oval, a speed for the pole, a brand new track record over 121.2 miles per hour. Race length, 250 laps. Field separation, they had just 1.1 seconds.
Boy, it was really close, no question about it, Jerry, and I think that's just an indication of the type of competition we'll see in this Budweiser 250.
Symmetrical front and back pits here on this oval. Trouble spots, well, they're turn 2 and turn 4, where the drivers really have to be very careful. The banking, 36 degrees, most steeply banked of all the tracks they run for the NASCAR Busch Grand National Tour. And the straightaways banked some 16 degrees. That's 2 degrees less than the tri-oval at Daytona. So certainly you're always in the banking here at Bristol.
And with just one more lap and we'll be racing, Jerry. Going to be interesting to see with all of this rain, all the rubber that was put down in qualifying and practice by both these cars and the Winston Cup cars has been washed away now. And they didn't get much practice to know what they would do as far as chassis setup. Benny?
Ned, I tell you what, I don't want to be a race car driver barreling down in turn 1 and not realizing what, if the racetrack is dry, what the outside groove is going to be. We've been in this situation before. It's not a good situation.
Ford pace car pulls off of turn 4. Butch Miller will lead him down with a brand new Hoosier radial tires on the pole center. As the green flag being waved, the Budweiser 250.
Oh, trouble here right on the front straightaway on the start of the race. Tommy Houston is down on the inside. Apparently got tapped from the back, Jerry. Somebody didn't take off, and Tommy got hit. Caution is out. Jeff Gordon has the lead.
There's a look at Tommy Houston's car sitting against the inside wall here. And Penny Parsons just hit the nail on the head. He didn't want to be out there with a lot of concerns, worried about starting down in turn 1 and A lot of tight traffic. Let's take a look again so we can see what happened to Tommy Houston.
Well, you can see the whole field coming off of turn 4. They get the green flag and take off. And there's a car that comes out of the pack down on the inside. And Houston was up on the outside, Jerry. And I don't know, evidently somebody just hit him and knocked him right out of there. All right, we'll take a look at it here. Look at the right side of your screen. And there is Houston just coming out of the pack and down through there. Robert Presley was behind him, but it didn't look like at that point that he hit him. So maybe something went wrong with Houston's car, that it just, maybe one axle pulled and the other one didn't or something. We'll get that answer for you here very shortly.
Tommy Houston was right in front of Jeff Burton, the South Boston, Virginia driver in the Phil Martossi-owned Oldsmobile. Let's look one more time from a different angle. Watch the car number 8 and the car number 6 to see if Houston is anywhere where there's some contact.
Yeah, they did touch. Yeah, you can see at that time that there was contact. And right front of Houston's car was banged up a little bit, and then he spun down to the inside of the track. I'll tell you, that could have been a lot worse than it was. Bobby Labonte now coming into the pits, and I believe he might have been the one that hit him. Let's go to John Kernan. Maybe we'll get the answers.
Well, Tommy is sitting in his car right now. Tommy, what happened out there?
Well, the 16 car in front of me didn't go, and I saw him and bumped him a little bit and got on the brakes to keep from running over him, and somebody behind me run slam over me.
That's the words of Tommy Houston. They are working furiously on the car right now to get him back out on the racetrack to get as many points as he can.
Well, that's really a tough break for Tommy. He's been running better, Jerry. Tommy's went through about a year or so of not too good a luck as we get ready to start this race, and ran good last week at Darlington, had a good qualifying position here, but now sitting in the pits as we get ready for green flag racing again.
And they take the green flag on lap 5. Bobby Labonte did make an unscheduled stop and change the left side tire. We'll get a report from Benny Parsons momentarily. Labonte back on the track. He's at the tail end of the field as we are under green here, and Jeff Gordon will lead him in turn 3. Year-old Jeff Gordon driving the Baby Ruth sponsored Ford Thunderbird out of the Bill Davis stable. Leading the early laps, Butch Miller did not take off like we thought he might. They dropped the green flag. Let's check and see there may be a problem. John Kernan. Jerry, what we're hearing down here in the Butch Miller in the pits is that his brakes do not have a full pedal, so he's having to be very, very cautious. Although it looks like he's coming right up on Jeff Gordon right now. We will check with Mark Prater, the crew chief, to see if that is going to be a problem. Well, he's beginning to move in a little bit now on Jeff Gordon. He's holding his own in second spot. Gordon the leader, Miller in second spot. Jimmy Spencer back in the Chevrolet now getting a challenge from Joe Nemechek, Texas Street car, looking awfully strong.
Just a moment ago, there was about to be some big trouble. Car number 16, Jeff Green, slipped a little bit, and they were all over the track. He has got his car squared away a little bit now, but Jeff's car is maybe not handling too well, but Butch Miller is handling okay, Jerry.
And remember, Miller on those Hoosier radials. Gordon has the bias ply Goodyears, and Miller takes the inside line, makes it look easy, as Gordon slips a little bit, and Miller will take the lead coming in turn 3. Let's check in now and see what the brake situation is now for Butch Miller. John?
Jerry, they had to do some work this morning on the brakes, and it just took a little while for it to get back up to full pedal. Right now, Mark Prater says he's fine, which is evident in the way he's pulling away over Jeff Gordon.
They're dicing back in the pack. Some contact already back in fact moments ago between Dale Jarrett and the car number 8 of Jeff Burton. Here is Harry Gann and Davey Allison. They're making their move to the pack. Gann in the car number 7, Allison 28. Rick Mass in the Skoll Classic Oldsmobile, car number 0, slides beneath the Jeff Burton machine, and now Allison will bid to move inside again.
Allison's car seems to be working very well right now. He's driving pretty aggressively.
They spent all week preparing that car for getting it here at Bristol. There's Jimmy Hensley in the car number 25. Behind him, Todd Bodine.
And there might have been a little bit of contact between he and the Bobby Daughter car, the 08, Gino's Pizza car. And now those two cars, the 08 has, as you mentioned earlier, I think, that has Hoosier tires, so does Jimmy Hensley. So we'll just see how those radial tires by Hoosier are going to work. But right now, they're certainly working for Butch Miller, because he's out front, and some of those others that have them are running well.
And remember, when we had the initial caution flag for the spin by Tommy Houston, Bobby Labonte made an unscheduled entry on the pit road for a tire change. Let's find out what that was for. Benny Parsons.
Gary, punch when Tommy Houston spun. He got his car up in the side of Bobby Labonte's car. He hit the left rear tire and knocked the valve stem off the tire. Off the wheel, I should say, so he lost all the air in the tire. He came in with no air at all in the tire. Just rolled around. The car was actually pulling on the wheel itself.
And that's the reason for the Bobby Labonte unscheduled pit stop. He is on the lead lap, trying to work his way back through the field. We are in the early laps here at Bristol International Raceway for the Budweiser 250. Butch Miller, our leader. Back with more after this. Back at Bristol International Raceway, racing all around this half-mile facility. Jimmy Hensley in the car number 25 makes the move inside of Jimmy Spencer, and now the 08 of Bobby Donner will try to take the spot away. That would be the 5th spot on the field. Hensley is 4th. The 45 of Spencer is 5th, and the 08 of Bobby Donner currently showing in the 6th position. Back up front, Butch Miller is our leader. And Ned, the word is he may have some more problems with those brakes than they initially realized.
Well, he's coming up from some heavy traffic, Jerry. If he has a brake problem, it's certainly going to show up here. Now, he goes on the outside with the Mike Porter car, number 35. No problems there. You don't use a lot of brakes on this racetrack unless you run into traffic and have to stop real quick because the banking is so steep that you just back off the gas and it'll slow down for you.
39-year-old Butch Miller out of Cooperville, Michigan.
Here's Donner trying to move on the inside of Jimmy Spencer. Remember, Donner has those Hoosier radials. Spencer has the Goodyear tires on the Food City car he's driving.
Bobby Donner, the Geno's Pizza Snacks Minute Maid Drink Mix. Oldsmobile, that's the Mike Tillman prepared car. Mike Tillman, remember, the crew chief for Tommy Ellis when he won the series championship back in '88. And Bobby Donner has really been getting stronger and stronger week by week. Hoping for a good run here. He's given Spencer all he can handle.
Yes, he is. Running very, very well. Made a big commitment to move from Chicago to this part of the country to run in the Busch Grand National Series. NASCAR Winston Cup racing is his goal.
There's Jimmy Spencer, 34 years of age, and Bobby Donner. Battling back for 8th, 9th, and 10th spot. Good run for Mike Wallace, his first ever visit here in the car number 20, the First Aid Sports Drinks Oldsmobile. That's out of the Dick Moroso stable. Behind him, the Gwaltney machine. That's Warren Burton. Right behind him, the fellow who has to have had a tremendous week. That's Robert Presley. That's that win at Darlington last Saturday.
Wallace apparently likes these high banks, like his older brother Rusty does.
He told me this track reminds him a little bit of the I-44 Speedway out in Lebanon, Missouri. He was the Mid-Atlantic region champion out there in 1990 for the Winston Racing Series, and it was a high banked oval. He likes the high banks, and to come here in his first time and qualify in the top 10, he qualified 7th, and to be running in the top 10 says a lot about his ability.
Yes, it does. We have not seen anybody moving that high groove yet, Jerry, except when we saw Butch Miller go up there on some lap traffic, and they slowed down for him. But everybody's sticking to that low groove, and it makes it very, very tough to pass. And here is Tracy Leslie leading a pack of cars. And Jeff Green, Dale Jarrett has been trying for about 10 laps to get around him. Davey Allison now has caught Jarrett. And so you have a 4-car battle there. They're running in the, I believe, the 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th positions. Jarrett looked like he had a notion to go high, but...
Now our leader beginning to move in on some lap traffic. And Dale Jarrett tries to make a move outside of Jeff Green. There's the car number 75. That's Butch Miller, our leader. Charlie Henderson owned Food Country USA. Remember, Bobby Labonte in the Slim Jim Chevrolet, the car number 44. He won this race last year. And Dale Jarrett trying to get beneath the car number 16 of Jeff Green out of Owensboro, Kentucky.
Boy, he has really been working on him to get the nose up. I mean, coming off the turns, Jerry, but he just can't quite. Green holds his ground going into the turn, and Jarrett just can't make the move.
Now, Green is one of those 4 cars in the field with the new Hoosier radial. The others are leader, of course, Butch Miller, Jimmy Hensley, and Bobby Donner. So you've got all those cars in the top 10 on the Hoosier radial.
Now that Butch Miller has run up on that traffic here, the car number 1 has caught him, and Dale Jarrett finally gets on the inside of Green, and here goes a pass for the lead as
Jeff Gordon takes the car number 1.
Yeah, pretty impressive.
Moving by the Richard Lassiter car number 5, the Sam Arch prepared Pontiac.
maybe that move by Gordon will tempt others to try that second groove, Jerry, because he went right up there very easy and went around.
The car seemed to stick pretty well up there on the outside, Ned. He had no trouble at all getting the car off the corner. And Gordon now has pulled away, opened up a lead of about 6 or 7 car lengths.
Of course, this is brand new pavement here on the Bristol International Raceway. This is the first race we've had here, and here is the car number 27 of Ward Burton making a move on Mike Wallace, and as he opened that door, Robert Presley drove on by, and several others are coming by as well.
Dale Jarrett trying to make it by, and Mike Wallace is trying to slam the door. How many of you guys going to go by me? Now Davy's coming by. Okay, Harry, you might as well go too.
Ooh, they just bouncing off them like a pool ball.
Finally, Mike Wallace
gets back in line.
Lost about 8 or 9 positions, and right behind him, it's not over yet. There comes Rick Mass in the car number 0. And the car number 16 of Jeff Green.
I tell you, Jerry, we're going to see a lot of these drivers really scrambling and trying to run hard, and that's the reason that Jarrett and Allison and Harry Gant were getting so aggressive there. Their spotters have told them that the leaders are only about a third of a lap behind them and said, hey, they're coming up. You got to go if you possibly can. So they have to agree to get in there and drive aggressive and try to stay in the lead lap.
And the leader just moving right in behind Bobby Labonte. Bobby Labonte, the defending 1991 Grand National Series champion. The fellow who's trying to pass him is the defending Rookie of the Year.
And, they almost get together on the front straightaway. That brake problem could have hurt Butch Miller when he got in that traffic, Jerry, and he just couldn't afford to be as aggressive as he needed to be. Now Bobby Labonte giving a little room on the outside for the car number 1 of Jeff Gordon, but still hasn't been able to make the pass. Here he comes. Oops, door closed on him again. Let's go to the pits and Benny Parsons.
Youth is wonderful. Jeff Gordon has wandered up to the top group. No other drivers are going up there, all running the bottom group, but Jeff Gordon, he's passing guys on the top side. Wouldn't it be great to be 20 years old again, then?
Yeah, it sure would. You know what we know now, especially. But it's not working for him being able to get around the cars that are running as fast as Bobby Labonte is there. It's just, he's trying it, but so far it hasn't worked for him.
And he drifted up a little bit there as Butch Miller begins to reeling in. Now he cannot work the traffic. Bobby Labonte going up high. 44 laps complete here of the 250 comprising this Budweiser 250. Back with more Grand National Racing from Bristol after this.
I'm not going to buy just any time.
Back at Bristol International Raceway, the Budweiser 250 underway. Our leader, the car number 1, the white red numeral Baby Ruth sponsored Ford Thunderbird. 20-year-old Jeff Gordon just going by the car number 44. That's Bobby Labonte. The second place car, that car number 75 coming at you right there. Being passed for second by the car number 25, Jimmy Hensley.
Yeah, Miller just looked like he slowed down, let Hensley go by on the outside. What's going on with that car, John?
Well, Ned, first they thought he might have broken a brake line whenever he didn't have full pedal. Then it came back and he had no full pedal once again. Right now, they got their fingers crossed that it's only a little bit of air in the brake lines. He's having to pump the brakes just a little bit to get the pedal to come back up to him. They think he's going to be okay. Their strategy right now, take it easy. Don't make any unnecessary moves.
And here's Dale Jarrett, the Interstate Battery Chevrolet, really on the move, moving inside Tracy Leslie, and right behind him, 3 Winston Cup drivers all coming together. That's Jarrett in the 18, Davey Allison in the 28, behind him, old handsome Harry Gant, that car number 7, the Mac Tools sponsored Buick.
And they started back there in the 17th, 18th, and 19th positions. Now they moved up to the 10th, 11th, and 12th position.
Tracy Leslie, former ARCA Series champion, has run awfully well on the short track this year. In fact, he's qualified on the outside front row at Martinsville last month. Finished 5th up there on Clairol, beautiful half-mile facility.
I think as the race goes on, Jerry, we'll see that group move up a little bit. But right now, it's very, very tough to pass. As we see, Jeff Gordon is in traffic here. That's Kenny Schrader driving the Kodak Film Chevrolet of Ernie Irvin. Now, Schrader drifts up just a little bit. Let's Gordon get a nose under it, but that still didn't open the door wide enough. Now he goes up a little bit again, and here comes Gordon down on the inside. I'll tell you, you got to be impressed with that young fella. He's driving very aggressively, and you've got to do it on this racetrack. You've got to get in there and rub fenders just a little bit, and he's doing it. There's Kenny Wallace. Lap down to car number 36. He won at Martinsville a few weeks ago. He's trying now to get on the outside of Steve Grissom. He's been trying to pass Grissom and just hasn't been able to do it, and it's going to cause him to go a lap down here as Gordon gets on the inside and drives on around. Kenny Schrader will try to take the measure of Wallace as well while he's on the high side of the track.
Kenny Wallace, our current point leader in Busch Series competition, he goes a lap down as Jeff Gordon goes to the high side of the Roddenberry's Pickles Oldsmobile. That is Steve Grissom. Got to be wondering what's going on in the tire wars down there. Remember, the Hoosier radials are awfully strong. And what about the Goodyears? Let's check in on tire wear with Benny Parsons.
Jerry Punch, these crews are a little bit anxious about the tires. 57, 58 laps now. We have not seen a caution flag. Yesterday, I talked to Bill Davis, the owner of Jeff Gordon's car. Yesterday, 45 laps. It looked like the left sides were just about worn out. Already more than that. They've got their fingers crossed. Everyone here wants a caution flag to come in, change tires, but they're concerned that caution flag might be their car.
And Benny, we might remind the fans that NASCAR, in the interest of safety, has waived the tire rule they normally have in effect on the short tracks because of the new pavement. It's an outstanding paving job. They are going to allow as many tire changes as possible. As the car number 9, that's Clifford Allison having his hands full just moments ago. And what a tremendous run he had here last year, Dad. He was driving for Clint Folsom at the time, ran in the top 5 most of the afternoon, ended up with an impressive 9th place finish. Clifford currently 27th. Our leader still working heavy traffic, and those are no slouches he's passing. That's Chuck Bound, the former series champion, and a very good driver on the short track.
Yes, in fact, he sat on the pole here last year, Chuck Bound did, but now going a lap down. And so Jeff Gordon really running strong, but having trouble getting through these.
Here's the 5th and 6th place battle. Car number 45, the Food City-sponsored Mike Laughlin car of Jimmy Spencer. And the young man we talked about who's really coming into his own this year, Bobby Dotter. And Mike Hillman has really made a difference. Bobby Dotter's always had talent, but he's a little bit of help in the pits as far as a crew chief, and Mike Hillman's one of the best.
He has brought that to him, and they do have a very good team now. Here's the car number 75 of Butch Miller trying to move on the inside of the car number 44 of Bobby Labonte. Of course, there, Bobby already a lap down to the leader.
You see Butch Miller using that throttle, having to back off in the corner with the brake problems, then jumps back in that throttle to make the pass coming out of the turn.
There's Spencer going around the Texas Pete car of Joe Nemechek, and so does Bobby Dotter. Moves around the car to 37, dropping him back to 7th place.
Joe Nemechek had done quite a bit of testing up here in the past few weeks for Goodyear. There's Butch Miller, car number 75. Trying to make a move now inside of Ricky Craven, the 99 car. Qualified 29th. That's Craven, the 99. Tom Peck, the Carroll 11 racing machine, car number 19. And here's our points leader, the Dirt Devil Chevrolet. That's the Stabco Racing Felix Sabatos-owned machine, car number 36. That is Kenny Wallace, a car they purchased from Darrell Waltrip. And they are struggling here early on. They've already been lapped by our leader.
Of course, the leader is Jeff Gordon, but this is the 3rd place car. The 2nd place car that we're watching, Jimmy Hensley, the car number 25. In 3rd place is the car number 75 of Butch Miller. And there is the leader.
20-year-old Jeff Gordon trying to hold on and get his first ever win at Bristol, Tennessee. We're in the early laps. More Grand National racing from Thunder Valley after this. Track Facts are brought to you by Quaker State. The big Q is One Tough Motor Oil.
When we watch our NASCAR races on TV, we sometimes hear about the pit crew jamming a lug nut in a socket. Let me show you a pit socket. They're a 6-point socket, and the points are almost non-existent, so that the lug nut, when it goes in, you can see how loose they are. Look, this nut is rounded at all. If they're not brand new, they slip and get on top of one of those points and jam in the socket. And there's no way to get this lug nut out. You simply got to take the socket off and throw it away. They're about 20 bucks a piece. That's not the concern. You could easily lose a lap when one of these lug nuts jam in the socket.
And that could cost you a lot of time. That's why all that preparation in the garage before you ever get to the racetrack is very, very important. And here's a young man who's been preparing for about 20 years to race at this track. 20-year-old Jeff Gordon, a tremendous talent. He has been successful everywhere he has gone. The 1990 USAC Midget Champion, the 91 Silver Crown Champion. Ned, last year he won the 91 USAC Silver Crown Series and was also the 91 Busch Grand National Rookie of the Year.
I think everybody figures that young man has a very, very bright future in the sport of auto racing. Of course, like most of the others who have not made it to Winston Cup racing, that's his goal, is one day to drive in Winston Cup. But he's in no big hurry to get there because he, after all, is a very young man. Benny had that air wrench and lug nut up there. I think we're going to see some of them using that air wrench before too long, Jerry. There's some cars beginning to slip around a little bit out here on the racetrack. There's Butch Miller running by himself out on the racetrack. John, and he's slowing down, apparently headed into the pits. What's the problem?
Well, Benny, Ned, he just drove by, and it sounded sick. The car's running on 5 cylinders right now. I asked Mark Prater, you lost a cylinder. He said, yeah, now Butch will come into the pits. But, you know, he didn't seem to be slowing down. He ran about 10 laps with the cylinder, with that one cylinder cut out. Now he has missed his pit. It's very slick in here. The car did not want to turn into his pit, so now they had to back him up. They'll bring him in now for service, go around to the right side. But like we said earlier, they have had brake problems. Now a cylinder, but shuts off the motor right now, so it doesn't look very good for our pole sitter. And certainly Charlie Henderson's crew working so hard to put that Food Country Pet Dairies Oldsmobile in the front, but it looks like when he locked the brakes up on pit road a minute ago, that he only had rear brakes.
Yeah, that's the way it looked. As John said, the pit road is still a little bit slick, a little damp down there, and with these slick tires, they don't adhere too well to that wet pavement, as Tracy Leslie in the Detroit Gaskets car goes a lap down. Here's a battle that we saw just a week ago, Jerry. It's reversed. Robert Presley in front now. He wound up in front of Darlington, but he was, until we got the white flag at Darlington, was running behind Gant. Now Gant has caught Presley.
And Harry Gant not running as well as we thought we would see him run early on. Let's check in and see if there's a problem with Harry Gant. John Kernan.
Harry has just called in and told Chris Carey and the crew on the radio that the car will not run in the corners. He thinks he's got a carburetor problem, so he's trying to ride it out. It's another one of the cars that we should keep our eye on.
Well, he's only about 2 or 2.5 seconds from going a lap down. Now, he does move around. Robert Presley takes that position because I'm sure his father is telling him, hey, Jeff Gordon's coming back there. He's going to be in your side. In fact, he's left him a straightaway behind him. So Gant wants to stay in the lead lap, hopes for a caution, as many of them are hoping that a caution will come out and will give them an opportunity to come in and get some new tires and, of course, make any adjustments they may need to make.
And there's Davey Allison in the car number 28.
Now, here's a battle for the car number 87 is running in the 7th position now, and Ward Burton has caught him. It seems like Nemechek's car has really gone away. You see slip up on the track. Dale Jarrett went by him a few laps ago, and here comes Davey Allison. He'll go by. Nemechek really needs a pit stop to get some new tires on his car, Chevrolet.
And Nemechek is only about 3 seconds in front of the leader as Jeff Gordon is coming in a hurry. Joe Nemechek really has his hands full. Let's check in with Benny Parsons.
Well, Jerry, I went out and talked to the crew and asked them, do you have a problem? And they said, well, the chassis is a little bit off. If we can get a pit stop, we'll change tires, we'll adjust, we'll be okay.
Well, they're going to have to hustle. They definitely would like to see a yellow flag come out in a hurry because they're only about 3 seconds in front of the leader. That's Jeff Gordon, who's coming in a hurry out of turn 2. Good battle here. Jimmy Spencer.
That's the 4th, 5th, and 6th place car. Spencer running in the 4th place. Todd Bodine is 6th. Dale Jarrett has caught them now. He started 17th, and he's moved up to 6th.
very good racetrack for Dale Jarrett. Always runs well there, even back in the formative years. Now, when he first started in the series, this is the track that he really took to in a hurry.
Yes, he did, and I've never quite understood why, but he just really likes this racetrack. Now, Bodine gets under Spencer. As Spencer gets a little wide coming off the turn, Bodine might get him going into this turn. Let's see if Jarrett's able to follow right down the inside. Yeah, he does.
The hungry Jack Buick makes the move to the inside, and now a pair of Chevrolet side by side as the Interstate Batteries colors comes out, makes the move inside. That's Dale Jarrett going by Jimmy Spencer. Let's check in and see what the Busch Miller problem may actually be with John Kernan. John?
Well, Jerry, we told you he lost the cylinder. Well, it wasn't a broken valve or anything like that. There was a spark plug wire loose, something very, very, very easy to fix. That is remedied. Right now, they've just finished bleeding the brakes, and they're getting ready to send Busch back out as the hood goes down the hood pins. They will have to change left side tires. Right now, he's just simply going to have to go out and run for points.
And last week's winner, Jerry, has just gone a lap down. Jeff Gordon has left Robert Presley and about to move up on Joe Nemechek and put a lap on him. Nemechek running in the 9th position now.
And the 9th place car goes a lap down. It's Jeff Gordon really having that car running for his liking today. More Grand National Racing from Bristol after this. Back at Bristol International Raceway, that young man right there, the Baby Ruth sponsored Ford, certainly running awfully well. And here's a battle shaping up. Jimmy Spencer in the car number 45, as we were just a few laps away from the halfway point, and Davey Allison in the Haviland Ford trying to make a move inside, and that would be for, what, the 5th spot?
Yes, that would be for the 5th spot. And we understand there might be a few raindrops about to fall, Jerry. The clouds have moved over once again. Benny, is there some drops falling down there?
Nick, they are. The raindrops are falling, and the Baby Ruth team are all up on pit walls screaming at the NASCAR officials, hey, it's raining. They want a caution flag. Everyone here wants to come in and check those tires, and there are raindrops, so they're all screaming for a caution flag right now. But so far, yes, it is. Now the caution flag is out.
And the caution flag being shown in the field. We told you there was an 80% chance of thunder showers in the area. We had showers all morning, and the NASCAR officials have worked so hard to dry this racetrack to get this race underway after about an hour rain delay, and now the caution being shown for the second time
Boy,
today.
we saw how close Harry Gant was to being lapped. We saw him in the picture just as the caution came out. Jeff Gordon was right on his bumper, so this is a break for Harry Gant.
And unfortunately, Joe Nemechek had just been lapped, and if this caution come out 5 laps ago, he would have been able to stay in the lead lap as well. And now one guy is going to be pretty happy right now the way his car is running. That's Bill Davis, who owns the lead machine. Benny Parsons.
Bill, you wanted a caution flag, but you chose not to pit. Why?
Well, I feel like they'll try to get this thing to halfway, so it's a race. So I don't feel like we can pit and go to the back, and then they get it in. So we'll have to stay out.
But the tires have got it. I mean, you told me yourself at about 50 laps you were concerned about the tires, and already we've run 100 laps. You got to be concerned about tire wear.
Well, I think they'll be okay. He says the car feels fine. It's real easy in the corner. He doesn't feel like he's abusing the tires at all.
So you think 50 laps yesterday has turned into 100 today?
Oh,
We hope so, Jerry.
Well, they've got their fingers crossed down there, and that's Jeff Gordon driving the car number 1.
Still about 25 laps away from the halfway mark of this race.
Jimmy Hensley having a great run today, and his crew chief, Bobby King, has put a good car under Hensley, and let's check in their pits for John Kernan.
Well, Bobby, I tell you, if anybody needs a good run today, you guys certainly do.
Yeah, we sure do. We even had some hard luck here lately, but we got the Oldsmobile running good today, and the Hoosiers tires are working fine. I think we will be fine.
Yeah, you decided to stay out and not change tires. Obviously, you're looking maybe back over your shoulder at these rain clouds.
Yeah, it's raining right now, so we don't want to come in and get behind in the rain, so we will wait and see what happens.
That's Bobby King, crew chief for Jimmy Hensley, your second-place car.
That's the Fishtails Oldsmobile, a beautiful blue and white Newborn car number 25, owned by Don Beverly. We'll be back with more Grand National Racing. A slight rain delay back after this. Around the world, around the year, ESPN brings you over 1 million miles of award-winning coverage. Today, we're at Bristol, Tennessee, Bristol International Raceway for the Budweiser 250. Working caution for the second time today. A little bit of a shower come over. There's our leader, Jeff Gordon. Let's try to check in with Jeff Gordon. Jeff, it's a Cherry Punch at ESPN. There was some concern at the beginning of the race about tire wear, but your car seems to be performing so well here in the first 100 laps.
Tell you what, those guys in the pit area, you need to take your hat off to them. I sure am, because the car's working beautiful. Our tire wear is really good right now. I feel good.
We've had a little bit of a shower. What's the track condition right now?
Hey, that's the best I've ever seen Bristol. It's got a high groove, a low groove. You know, you really got to be working good to get to the high groove, but it seems to be working for me. As long as this rain stays away, I think we got a heck of a shot here.
Jeff, if we go back to green, how long will you want to push it on those tires before you'll make a stop and try to get some fresh rubber on?
So Hensley stayed out, you know, and he's behind me, so we'll just have to see how the cars run. The car feels good right now. I know a lot of guys have new tires, so we're just going to have to see how much faster they are than us. But we'll have to stop for gas here fairly soon, so that's when we'll do our tires.
Okay, Jeff, we'll let you go. Good luck to you, and we'll talk to you a little later on.
Well, Jerry, the 25 car of Jimmy Hensley coming into the pits right now. Let's go there. John Kernan is there.
They will go with 2 scuff tires on the right side. Jimmy asking for a drink of water. They were waiting to see if the rain would come down even harder. They thought this race might end under caution at the halfway point, lap 125, but now it looks like things are clearing up, so Jimmy Hensley is in for a 2-tire change. Now, tire wear, of course, a concern. Jimmy is on the Hoosiers. A lot of guys are on the Goodyears, and Benny Parsons has rounded up some tires. Benny?
John, I'm here with Joe Nemechek's tires, the driver of the Texas Speed Chevrolet. This is the right front. They started with 4.5 30 seconds. It has 4 left on the right front, so not worn hardly at all. But we go back to the right rear on that Chevrolet. That's 1.5 30 seconds. 2, this right rear tire is almost worn out. If the car was adjusted just a little bit better, if he put a little bit wedge in the car and the car wasn't so loose, if that was 2.5, this was 2.5, those tires should be able to run 150 laps, no problem. So if Jeff Gordon's car is adjusted perfectly, he might be able to run 150 laps on a set of tires. John Kernan, how is the tires on the 25 car looking?
Benny, the right front looked pretty good. This is the right rear. You can see all this rubber built up on here. It's kind of hard to find the tire wear indicators. Talking to one of the Hoosier officials, he told me it looked pretty good. He said that they think that the Hensley crew may have made the right decision in putting on only right side tires. He thinks it looks pretty good.
Okay, the leader is coming down pit road right now. Jeff Gordon, after Jimmy Hensley made his pit stop, I guess they figured, well, we better come in too.
Let's check in with Benny Parsons. Benny?
Jeff Gordon watched those other cars making pit stops, and he decided that he would have to as well. So he comes in, is changing the right side. Bill Davis, the owner, is also the jack man, brings the jack around. They are changing left sides. Looks like a good pit stop. No Winston Cup crewman on this team. All Busch Grand National tire changers. Left sides are on. Jack is down. Away Jeff Gordon goes, but he does go to the rear of the field. Long ways to go.
And Benny, there are 7 cars that are in the lead lap right now. 25, Jimmy Hensley came back into the pits once again. And did he go a lap down? He's being held right there on pit road. John Kernan, what's going on there?
Well, Bobby King in the crew, when I'm asking what happened, and he just had a very disgusted look. I don't know if they stopped Jimmy from going too fast on the pit road or what the deal is, but he came in and changed right sides. Then they brought him back in when they saw that Jeff Gordon was coming down to change 4 tires. And I think that it might be better if we don't talk to Bobby right now. He seems to be a little bit upset, but as soon as we find out exactly what happened, we'll let you know.
Well, I tell you who's going to be leading this race in a little bit right now. Jimmy Spencer is leading the race, but he has not made a pit stop. Harry Gant is pitting on the back. He and Davey Allison pitted early right after this green flag came out, or caution flag came out, so they're going to be up there. Benny Parsons?
I talked to one of the Busch Grand National officials, and what they're saying is that Jimmy Hensley did not beat the pace car as he came down pit road, that the tire change was a little bit too slow. He did not beat the pace car. They brought him back in and put him to the rear of the field. And they said they're going to go green flag racing the next lap.
Well, we're getting set for more green flag racing action from Bristol, Tennessee. 110 laps in the books. Back with more racing from Bristol after this. Stay with us. And raindrops are the current story here at Bristol International Raceway as the showers have resumed over this half-mile facility, and we are still under caution flag. for the second time today. Let's take a look again what happened to Jimmy Hensley just moments ago on his pit stop.
Okay, came in for a second pit stop, Jerry, to change left side tires. And you can see the field about to come by at the top of the screen. Now as they work on the left rear over there, comes the pace car. He gets down, he spins the wheels, tries to get down to the end of pit road before the pace car gets by, but apparently he didn't, and so they held him. That's why we saw him sitting there with the penalty a moment ago.
About 4 seconds on that left rear tire cost him a lap on the field. Let's check in with John Kernan.
Jerry, we've had to break out the umbrella. The rain is starting to come down, and Ken Campbell, Jimmy was in the top 5. You saw the other cars pit down here, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Hensley, but you stayed out there. Are you a meteorologist?
Not hardly. We stayed out because of the weather. We seem to have broken a valve spring on our motor, and it's slowed down a little bit. So,
well, now the red flag is out, so it looks like you're going to wait a little longer.
We were hoping they would at least go to the halfway before they did that, but we'll just make the best of it.
That's Ken Campbell, the crew chief for Jimmy Spencer. And Jerry, yeah, they are pulling down here on pit road. The rain is falling just a little bit harder right now, and the red flag is out.
Well, NASCAR just 9 laps away from halfway. Now, once they would reach the lap 125 mark, the race would be considered complete if the weather were to move in. But they want to give the fans what they came to see, as well as the competitors what they came here to race for. So why use up the race if they have a chance maybe of getting it in and let some of this shower pass over, get the track dry? And we've got basically almost 130 laps yet to race. So it should be a good Grand National race, and they want to give the fans what they paid to come in to watch. We'll be back with more from Bristol International Raceway. 116 laps have been complete of the 250, which comprises Budweiser event. We're under red flag for rain. Back with more after this. And we welcome you back to Bristol International Raceway. The Budweiser 250, after a lengthy delay for rain and numerous showers in the area, about 3 hours and a half to be exact, we have gotten the cars back on the track to help dry the track. After 116 laps, our AutoZone race summary to date. Jimmy Spencer being shown as the leader, having led us 8 of 116 laps. There are 2 caution flags. The latest, of course, the red flag after the rain came in. Leaders and lead changes, 3 leaders, 4 different lead changes, and the average speed just 85.61 miles per hour. Lap leaders, Jeff Gordon awfully strong early on, Busch Miller in the Hoosier radial tires, and Jimmy Spencer, who was the leader of note when the red flag came out. Out of race, Tommy Houston involved in that first lap incident where he received a tap from behind. His car spun and tagged the inside wall, bending some of the chassis parts, and he was unable to continue. Now, just moments ago, our lead car had trouble. Jimmy Spencer, that's him sitting inside his Chevrolet on pit road, the Food City Chevrolet, and apparently he had a transmission problem. He couldn't get the car to go forward.
Yeah, and he finally wound up backing around the racetrack for a lap. He's trying to fix it. See, he can do that if he doesn't have any tools. If he can fix whatever the problem is inside the car, he was just hung up in reverse, and he couldn't get it out of reverse, but he couldn't get it fixed, and there he is out of the car.
Obviously frustrated, Jimmy Spencer from Berwick, Pennsylvania. Had a good run going, but in reality, he had already had another problem that would not have allowed him to win today anyway. We are told that from the crew that he was on 5 cylinders, and you heard John Kernan early talking to some of the crew chief, and they were on 5 cylinders and certainly wouldn't have been a factor. At the red flag at 116 laps, Jimmy Spencer was being shown as a leader. Harry Gant, second place. Davey Allison, Todd Bodine, and Dale Jarrett in 5th. 6 through 10, Bobby Dotter having a good run there. He's on the Hoosier radials. Jeff Gordon, who was the early leader here, and he'll be a car to watch. Mike Wallace, his first ever trip to this racetrack. Joe Nemechek and Jeff Green.
11th through 15th, Rick Mast, Robert Presley, Bobby Labonte, Kenny Wallace, and Tom Peck. 16th through 20th were Ken Schrader and Steve Grissom, Jimmy Hensley, Tracy Leslie, and Richard Lassiter.
21 through 25, Clifford Allison, Ricky Craven, Chuck Mound, Mike Porter, and Jeff Burton. And 26, 7, 8, and 9, Ward Burton, Butch Miller, Dick Trickle in the car that's already exited today. The only car that is not in the field currently, that is Tommy Houston. 116 laps are in the books. 134 were made in the Budweiser 250. Back with more from Bristol after this. Bristol International Raceway for the Budweiser 250. After a lengthy rain delay, the skies have opened. They have been trying to dry the track The Ford Thunderbird safety car has the field in tow coming off turn 2, and Ned, the track looks pretty dry, particularly down on the bottom side.
Yeah, that's where they've been running most of the race, Jerry, and it does look in good shape down there. Maybe a little wet up top side, but that's where they hope not to be anyway.
We might make mention once again that Jimmy Spencer was being shown as the leader. They're giving the caution and green flags. These laps will count. So they will say we have lap 117 in the books. 125 laps will be halfway for this 250 lap event. The Budweiser 250.
Well, that puts Harry Gant in the lead now once they've thrown that green flag with Jimmy Spencer's car sitting in the pits. And they can work on that car now. And once they gave the green, the caution was put back out. As you see Spencer's car going down pit road now, they had done some work on it. Once the green flag dropped, they could go to work on the race car.
And he has pulled that car out. There's Jimmy Spencer, the 34-year-old Berwick, Pennsylvania driver. Was being shown as a leader, had a transmission problem, couldn't get the car to go in first, second, or third, and it was stuck in reverse. Now he is back on the track. Other cars making quick stops on pit road. Joe Nemechek has been in. We look at the Jimmy Spencer Food City Chevrolet.
Well, we understand they might have run over the air hose. As a matter of fact, 2 of his crew members had come around to the right side with tires as if they were going to change the right side tires, so there was a little confusion in the pits. Now Spencer is back in the pits, and they are coming around now to change those right side tires. And these laps are counting now.
We are showing 120 laps in the books. You're watching Jimmy Spencer's Mike Laughlin crew, and Spencer obviously not very happy about what just took place a minute ago as he tried to pull the car off pit road. Some crew members were over. He was trying to keep from losing a lap. And as the car exited, apparently he did clip the air hose, and that is a NASCAR penalty. Car has been brought back to pit road, and Jimmy Spencer will not have a good finish here today. The delay for rain, 3 hours, 52 minutes, and 58 seconds. We were stopped at 116 laps. When they threw the red flag, Jimmy Spencer was a leader by virtue of not having pitted yet. Now, even though he had lost a cylinder, we had been told he was on 5 cylinders, and he had not made a pit stop. The other lead cars, Harry Gant, Davey Allison, Todd Bodine, Dale Jarrett, etc., they had all made pit stops, so they are in good shape to go the distance. We should be anyway on fuel.
Yes, and now they've been given the 1-lap signal. We'll get green flag racing underway. Some of the cars coming into the pits. Jeff Green is into the pits. He had not pitted. Joe Nemechek is back in the pits. He has been in 2 or 3 times. He's being shown. He had made a green flag pit stop, I believe, just before the caution came out for the rain anyway.
So Harry Gant has had a carburetor problem early on. He had the carburetor fluttering a little bit in the corners. As we get set to go back to green, Ford safety car pulls away. Rick Mast leads him out of turn 4. The green flag cross is back underway in Bristol, Tennessee, just 2 laps shy of the halfway mark. Mike Wallace in car number 20. The First Aid Sports Drink machine owned by Dick Moroso. He will lead the charge. He is in the lead lap, Ned.
Yes, he is. He's at the tail end of the lead lap. So is Bobby Labonte. Now passing Mike Wallace, and a little close running there between Robert Presley and Mike Wallace. And you can see all of those cars that are out or in front of Harry Gant have gotten themselves back in the lead lap. Gant is actually the 6th place car in line.
It has got to be slippery out there. As you said, Ned, I'm sorry. It has got to be awfully slippery out there. That's Mike Wallace, the 50. Robert Presley, the 59. Behind him, Rick Mast, the 0. 36, that's our point leader, Kenny Wallace. Those cars in front of Harry Gant are being shown on the lead lap. Here's Dale Jarrett trying to make a move inside of Tracy Leslie, the car number 72. Jarrett's in the 18 car, the Interstate Batteries machine, being shown in the 4th position.
Leslie is a lap down, and Jarrett trying desperately to get around, but just can't get on the inside of it.
Got to feel helpless for Dale Jarrett. I mean, he can't get the car down too low because it's got to be a little bit slippery down there. And now he has to watch his rearview mirror as Bobby Donner tries to make a move, the 08.
And the man who led this race for so long is back behind Jarrett and Donner. Jarrett is running 4th, and the yellow car, Bobby Donner, is in the 5th place. And 6th place is Jeff Gordon, who is back behind them, and he just can't find any running room either. There's Harry Gant. See, he can't go anywhere. Davey Allison running 2nd right on his bumper. Todd Bodine right on his bumper, so they can't go anywhere. So, boy, it is follow the leader type situation around here. It's a one-lane racetrack right now.
Single file racing in turns 1 and 2. That middle groove, you see how much grayer that pavement is. That's the dry and the safe area. Now Dale Jarrett will maybe try to make a move. He tries to sneak underneath Leslie over in turn 4.
Well, Leslie slipped a little bit there coming off the turn. Almost bottled up the field behind. There's the leader, Harry Gant in car number 7. Davey Allison in second, and right on his back bumper is Todd Bodine. And they can't go anywhere.
Now Gant will try to see if he can make a move. No, he thinks better of it. Now, once again, he puts his foot back in the throttle, slides beneath Kenny Wallace, will put Wallace a lap down. Davey Allison follows Gant through, as does Todd Bodine, turn 3.
And back behind them, Dale Jarrett finally did get around Tracy Leslie. And so did Bobby Dodder and Jeff Gordon. But there's your leader, right on the back bumper of Rick Mast in the 0 car.
Rick Mast, the last car on the lead lap. He would like to stay in the lead lap. He would like to see a caution flag come out and let him come around and get behind that lead group.
There's Steve Griffin down on the inside in the Roddenberry car. Now he's staying low enough out of everybody's way. Even though they had to get up in the second groove, but everybody made it by him okay. Well, I'll guarantee you, Jerry, that those drivers like Gant and Allison are hollering to their pit crews and saying, hey, tell the NASCAR officials to move these cars over. But they're running real good. Those cars that are still up there in front of Mike Wallace, Robert Presley, and Rick Mast. So they know if they pull over that they're going to go way back in the pack.
Get out of line, you're going to lose a lot of ground here. As Mike Wallace, Robert Presley, Rick Mast, 3 Oldsmobiles, and now Gant tries to make a move inside Rick Mast, and the Buick will fall back in line, and down in turn 1 and 2, Gant will slide beneath Mast. It's as you said, Ned, Mast gets out of the groove, and he will be shuffled back some 3 spots.
Yeah, everybody's going to go by. Now, he's not really losing positions right now. He just went a lap down because all of those cars that are passing right there were in the lead lap, so that didn't hurt him position-wise. Now, Kenny Wallace right on his back bumper, that is the position because Wallace is a lap down as well.
Let's check in with John Turner.
Jerry, you really can't tell it, but these drivers are being aggressively cautious. I guess that's the best way to put it. Harry is told Chris Carrier, Davey Allison is told Red Farmer on the radio, the track's still a little bit wet. They're going to be as aggressive as they can be, but still stay within the safety bounds so they can try and win this race. Of course, you mentioned a lot of those guys would like to have seen a caution. Well, the thing is, you don't want to be the cause of that caution.
There's Gant. About to be passed a little bit by Davey Allison. I tell you, I just saw it passed by Jeff Gordon back in the pack. He went around the car number 8 on the outside and now went up on the outside of Dale Jarrett. But Jarrett got on the inside of Kenny Wallace, so that didn't work.
Heavy traffic coming out of turn 4 as Harry Gant tries to work to the inside. Robert Presley. These two battled door to door a week ago, and Presley came out the victor as Gant now will slide by and put Presley a lap down. Davey Allison takes the inside move, and Robert Presley jumps in the brakes and not to run over Davey Allison in turn 3. Quick move by Robert Presley.
Boy, I tell you, that is some kind of aggressive driving. It has to be. I mean, they're driving their hearts out. Look there as Mike Wallace really got sideways. Everybody had to get on the brakes right in front of Gant. That gave Gant an opportunity to get on the inside of Robert Presley, but some kind of racing going on here now. Don't go away.
Lots of racing yet to come. It's really getting better and better at Bristol International Raceway. Back with more after this. Stay with us.
Mark.
Back at Bristol International Raceway, and Mike Wallace doing a whale of a job trying to stay on the lead lap just in front of Harry Gant. Now, Mike Wallace in the car number 20, the Dick Moroso owned First Aid Sports Drink Oldsmobile. He is trying to stay on the lead lap. As Harry Gant, the veteran, tries to make a move to the outside. We'll see how that upper groove is as Gant tries to hold the middle line.
Well, I'm sure that his spotter has told him, hey, the one car of Jeff Gordon back there has taken that high road and made the pass. Gant got up there. He felt safe in doing it and went on around. And now he's free, set, safe.
And here's Jeff Gordon, who was the fellow who sat on the outside of the front row, the young 20-year-old driver in the Baby Ruth Ford Thunderbird, the Bill Davis owned car. It's the white red numeral car number 1. There in the middle of your screen, just behind Dale Jarrett. He's being shown in 5th position. Jeff Gordon in 5th place. Dale Jarrett in the green and orange numeral car number 18 in front of him is in 4th spot.
Now, they might find, Jerry, as Jarrett goes on the outside of Mike Wallace, that, hey, there's a little more better running room up there than we thought. They thought the racetrack was wet up there on the high side, but Jeff Gordon had already gone up there and passed Bobby Dotter and had got up beside of Jarrett one time on the outside. Now they move around Mike Wallace on the outside, so they might feel a little more comfortable going up there now than they did a little while ago.
Mike Wallace being shown back in the 8th position now in the car number 20.
I tell you, we have seen some great driving under some very tough conditions here. Those drivers, not only those in the lead lap, but those that were a lap down, having to drive very aggressively, but driving as hard as they were. And we've seen a couple of bumps, but we haven't seen anybody hit anybody hard enough to spin them out.
Good job by Bobby Dotter, that 08 car, the Mike Hillman prepared car, the Geno's Pizza Snacks Oldsmobile. What a great job he's doing, currently being shown in 6th spot. And here's Jeff Green has spun his Chevrolet Lumina and come to rest against the inside pit wall. The caution will come out for the 3rd time today. For the incident here on the front stretch, Jeff Green driving for Wayne Day out of Goodlettsville, Tennessee, who owns that car.
And, Jerry, this is going to help Bobby Labonte. He was one of those that was a lap down that didn't get past there, so he was pulled while they was doing all that jostling around back there. Bobby Labonte had pulled out away from him, so now he's back in the lead lap. That makes 7 cars, I believe, that should be in the lead lap. And he would be the last of the 7. So it's Harry Gant, Davey Allison, Todd Bodine, Dale Jarrett, Jeff Gordon, Bobby Dotter, and Bobby Labonte now in the lead lap.
So a good, smart move by Bobby Labonte getting back in the lead lap. Once again, let's look and see if we can see what happened to Jeff Green coming out of turn 4.
There he is sideways, Jerry. I don't know if the back end just went around on him. He was in some traffic there, so he could have got a little bit of a tap. Anyway, his car spun down to the inside, the 31W installation.
Two-time track champion at Nashville Fairgrounds Raceway. Young man having a good run today, but he's up against the wall now as we're under caution for the 3rd time today. Back with more from Bristol after this. At the Budweiser 250 here at Bristol International Raceway. 154 laps complete, just 96 remain. This 250-lap event, and here's the Slim Jim Chevrolet net. He did make a pit stop, but he is back on the lead lap. Let's check in with Benny Parsons.
Jerry Punch, he was the last car on the lead lap, so he had nothing to lose. He came in, changed the right sides. The next lap, came in, changed the left. So he now has 4 new tires and is in the lead lap. So Bobby Labonte could be a car to be reckoned with.
Yep, sure could be. He was struggling a little bit in the first half of this race. The green flag waves again, so here we go, fighting that heavy traffic.
Now Harry Gant on the inside. He will try to pull away a little bit from Davey Allison. They are the lead twosome, Gant and Allison, Buick and Ford, and behind him another Buick. That is Todd Bodine, and behind him the Chevrolet of Dale Jarrett in 4th spot. The 5th place car would be the Ford of Jeff Gordon. There have been 19 Busch Grand National Series events at this racetrack over the years. This is the 10th annual Budweiser 250, and there have been 14 different winners. However, Harry Gant has never won here in Busch Series competition. It's a little bit surprising as well as he runs the short track.
That's the truth. And Ed Whitaker, who owns that Pack-Tool Buick, is from Bristol, Tennessee. So certainly they'd like to win in front of the car owner's hometown fans.
There's Handsome Harry, 52 years of age, from Taylorsville, North Carolina. There's Davey Allison at 31, running the 2nd spot. Brand new race car for Davey Allison. Red Farmer and the crew working all week down at Kenny, Ronald, and Donald Allison's shop in Salisbury to build a short track cars. And for many years, they've been bringing a super speedway car to try to run short tracks. Sort of like bringing a field.
The 34 car, Todd Bodine, who was running 3rd, has just been black flagged. Benny, what's the problem?
Ned, he's dragging something. It's like an exhaust. His exhaust is broken or something. He's dragging the thing around the racetrack. A lot of sparks coming out front of the car. We're trying to find out what it is. We'll let you know as soon as we do, Ned.
Well, it's a tough break for Todd Bodine, who was running a great race here today. Had himself there in 3rd position, running right with the leaders.
Watch beneath the car. So something came from beneath the car there. Obviously, one of the brackets, and they've brought the car on pit road. They have it jacked up there. The Frank C.C. Scott Welliver on Hungry Jack Buick for Todd Bodine. After finishing 5th last week at Darlington, having a good run here, and now he's on pit road, losing valuable laps under the green.
Well, we're 162 laps into this 250-lap race. As you said, most of them should be able to go the distance from here as far as fuel is concerned, and power wear has been in good shape, too.
Davey Allison in second spot, the Hamilton Ford Thunderbird, the 28 car. Now the 59 is Robert Presley. He is a lap down.
And here is Bobby Dotter moving on the inside of Jeff Gordon. Dotter with the Hoosier tires takes the measure of Gordon down on the inside. And he's going to move into the fourth position, maybe. And here comes Gordon back up on the outside. But Dotter gets the move off the fourth turn down on the inside and takes over the fourth position. There's Harry Gant, Davey Allison, Dale Jarrett, now Bobby Dotter, and Jeff Gordon drops back into the fifth position.
A good run for Bobby Dotter. His best finish ever in Busch Series competition, a fourth at South Boston, Virginia last year. There's Dale Jarrett. He is the third car in line with the green hood. He's right orange number 18. He's being shown in third spot, and Bobby Dotter is reeling him in. As Ken Schrader brings the Kodak Chevrolet, he's subbing for Ernie Irvin. Irvin, of course, still feeling some of the brunt of that injury at Atlanta early in the year. And now Bobby Dotter tries to make a move inside of Dale Jarrett.
Jarrett was trying to go by Robert Presley on the outside. Bobby Dotter came down on the inside, but couldn't quite make the move yet, but now he tries it again, backs off going into turn 3. And Robert Presley pushed the bumper to Davey Allison a little bit. Evidently, Allison holding that group up there just a little bit.
Harry Gant has pulled away to about an 8-car length advantage out of turn 2. Robert Presley would like to have a shot to get around Davey Allison and maybe go up and get it. Jarrett now gives Presley a little bit of a tap in turn 3. As Jarrett feeling the pressure from Bobby Dotter, who's likewise feeling pressure from that white car. The final car in that draft, that is Jeff Gordon in the car number 1. That's the pack, Allison, Presley, Jarrett, and Dotter. And you can add Gordon back there. He's the white car, the Baby Ruth sponsored machine.
Well, I tell you, that Dotter car is really coming off the turns. Bobby Dotter's Chino Pizza entry, getting a good bite coming off the turns, but he just needs to get enough speed going down the straightaway to really make the pass.
Bobby Dotter was so tickled that he makes a move now inside Dale Jarrett here in the front stretch. Jarrett pulls him going into turn 1, but Bobby Dotter was so excited, Ned, about the Holmes and Eames engines they were going to be able to run for the rest of the year here because he knows how strong that they would be on the short track. So Dotter holding on to the 4th spot. Let's check in with Benny Parsons.
Jerry, I'm going to give a report on something we haven't heard too much of in 1992. Stagger. The car, the 1 car, driven by Jeff Gordon, the stagger's gotten off on the car and it's just awfully tight. With the radial cars, that doesn't happen, but the bias fly, that's the problem you sometimes have. This car's just too tight to get back up front like he was earlier in the race.
Well, when he came in and put new tires on it during the caution period, you never know how it might come out. And there he is. He's still hanging right in there with them, though.
Surprising that 1 car is even at the racetrack. Now, this car was destroyed 3 weeks ago at Martinsville in a practice session. The throttle hung in this car. He hit the wall head-on at Martinsville. They had to rebuild the car from just in front of that 1 all the way to the front. Put a whole new front saddle in the car, rebuilt it, brought it here to Bristol, and set on the front row. So they've done a tremendous job, Bill Davis and the crew of that Baby Ruth Ford Thunderbird.
Yes, they have. I'll tell you, if Bobby Dotter could get by Dale Jarrett and those cars in front of him, I believe that he has the fastest car on the racetrack right now, but he just can't get the track position. Now he drops back a little bit as they lap the Richard Lassiter car.
Bobby Dotter, of course, the son of 3-time ARCA Series champion Bob Dotter, and grandson ARCA decided to come run Busch Grand National Series. That's Harry Gant. Bright yellow car just going out of your picture. That's Davey Allison holding on the 2nd spot. Robert Presley behind him. As Harry Gant is showing the way here at 177 laps of the 250, which comprises Budweiser Busch Grand National event. Back with more after this. Bristol, Tennessee, 71 laps remain. And this 10th annual Budweiser 250. Almost a 4-hour rain delay early in the afternoon, and Harry Gant has come all the way from 18th starting spot to be the leader. Remember, this is the same car he won with at Richmond early in the year, and he started way back in 28th spot.
He's famous for that. The car just doesn't qualify very well, but once he gets in race conditions, it handles well, and that's the key normally on race day is handling. Put a good driver like Harry Gant behind the wheel, a good handling race car, and it spells running up front.
There's the 3rd place car, Dale Jarrett. The winner of this race last August here at Bristol, Tennessee. And back in 4th place, that's the battle that everyone's watching just a minute ago, as Bobby Dotter was starting to get a little bit of a challenge. His car slipping a little bit in the corners, and looks like Jeff Gordon was reeling him in.
Yeah, Dotter has dropped back a little bit now. They ran into some traffic, and his car just won't go on the outside at all. So when he gets in that traffic, it seems to bother him just a little bit. Now he got around Todd Bodine, who is back out on the racetrack, but running at a slower speed.
Jeff Gordon is the 5th place car. That's the car number 1. Behind him, the car that was a lap down just a little while ago. That's Bobby Labonte, the 1991 Busch Grand National Series champion. He got that lap back. The caution comes out. He makes a pit stop. As now Gordon gets a little physical there with Bobby Dotter.
Ooh, Gordon down on the inside, down on the flat part of the racetrack. Say you did a great job of saving that car, because that could have been a mess there.
He could have shortened that Seabird again. Fortunately, he held it back, ended it in. He will stay in 5th place. That young man can drive a car. He is very impressive.
Now he's going to try it on the outside. See what I mean? When you get in traffic, Bobby Dotter has not been able to pass Mike Wallace up on the outside. Now Jeff Gordon takes over the 4th position, and Dotter's car just simply will not go up on that outside. Now he moves up there. Mike Wallace gives him plenty of racing room. Now he might be able to make it going into turn 1. Let's see. Gets in there ahead. He might be able to make it this time, but it took him a long, long time. Meanwhile, he has lost the full straightaway to the leader.
And Jeff Gordon has begun to pull away. Look how far Gordon has pulled just in a lap and a half. About 6 or 7 car lengths. There's Dotter, the 5th place car. Gordon in front of him in the 4th position, car number 1. Almost a straightaway separating those cars from the 3rd place machine of Dale Jarrett.
Still running out front, and that carburetor problem that we mentioned a long time ago that he had some problem maybe in the turn seems to have worked itself out. It's not bothering him right now because he's holding on out there. Now Bobby Dotter, now that he's out to himself, Jerry, he seems to be gaining back on the 1 car of Jeff Gordon, but he just can't work the traffic. Apparently the car just not, maybe it's a little bit tight for him or something like that. So he loses time in traffic and then picks it back up when he gets out by himself.
That's the Minute Maid Drink Mix, Gino's Pizza Snacks machine. And good to see these young drivers finally get some good sponsorship. They had Bobby Dotter, who's been down here struggling without a sponsor, and now he's got 2 pretty good ones.
Yes, it is good to see that. There's Harry Gant with the leader, and you can see how far behind Davey Allison is. Robert Presley still right on his bumper. Allison running 2nd. Robert Presley is a lap down, being shown in the 7th position now.
Wide
now see Dale Jarrett coming into the picture.
There's Dale Jarrett. And he has been able to reel Davey Allison in a little bit. He had lost almost a straightaway to Allison earlier. He is now within about 7 or 8 car lengths. And the 1 car, Jeff Gordon. That was our pole sitter. He just goes by there, Butch Miller, who had some troubles early on.
Yeah, he's many laps down. And then there you see the yellow car of Bobby Dotter. He is the 5th place car. Bobby Labonte is the only other car in the lead lap. There again, you see Dotter try to go high, and he just couldn't do it. But then Miller moves down, lets him go. Slows down enough that he can get back in his groove. There's a space on the racetrack. There were not any cars. There's Bobby Labonte. He's the last car on the lead lap, currently running in 6th place. And he's about 2/3 of the lap down to Harry Gant. So we thought those new tires that he came in got might put him in a real good position, but might be like Jeff Gordon, maybe they're a little tight or something. Maybe the stagger's not just right on him because he's not running as fast as the leaders are. But nevertheless, he is in 6th position and on the lead lap. Bobby Labonte, Slim Jim, Chevrolet.
54 laps remain here in the Budweiser 250. We'll show you the separation between Bobby Labonte and where our leader Harry Gant is, as Harry Gant now comes motoring out of turn 4 in a big Mac Tools Aeronautical Accessories Buick. The Ed Whitaker on machine. Ed Whitaker, the winningest active car owner in Busch Series competition. Harry Gant's finishes a year ago, 7th and 30th. We mentioned he has never won here at Bristol in Busch Series competition. He did win earlier on when it was the old late model Sportsman Tour before it was consolidated into the Busch Grand National Series back 11 years ago. Let's check some intervals between our leader and second-place car. Here's Harry Gant coming out of turn 4. Well, Davey Allison there just behind him.
I believe Davey's gained on him a little bit, Jerry.
I believe he is. I believe it's 9/10 of a second. We'll follow the intervals. Let's check in quickly with John Kernan.
Jerry, I just talked to Chris Carrer. He said that Harry is told the car's missing really bad. Asked him if he thought they could hold on. Well, he gave me kind of the, maybe, but I don't know. But it does look like Davey is closing the gap. Once again, Harry, apparently that carburetor problem where it was sputtering real bad in the corners has surfaced again.
That may explain a little bit why Harry again is just not coming off the corner like he was before. The car just sort of sits there and stalls almost coming off the corner, and Davey Allison is reeling him in a hurry coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, Davey got some traffic on that last lap and lost actually a second. But we'll see what happens this time now that he was out of traffic. There's Gant across the start-finish line. Then Davis, still same thing as the last lap. Harry's car is handling so good in the turns, and on the short track, sometimes you give up a little bit of horsepower and still do okay as far as speed around the track is concerned.
Heavy traffic in front of our leader, Harry Gant, as Joe Nemechek goes by Richard Lassiter. Now Ward Burton will go up and fill the front of Harry Gant. Gant now has to follow Ward Burton through the corner. Actually, Ward looks to be a little bit quicker because of that Gant miss. Now Gant will go by him in turn 3, or try to. But Davey Allison now within 5 car lengths.
I don't think Gant has lost a cylinder. I don't think that he is down on 5 cylinders. That car wouldn't run that fast if it were. Now, they just picked up 0.2 of a second on him now in the last couple of laps. Got it down to 0.8 of a second.
45 laps remain here in the Budweiser 250. Harry Gant trying to hold on and get his first ever Busch Grand National Series win at Thunder Valley. We'll be back with more from Bristol International Raceway after this. Laps are winding down here in the Budweiser 250. Harry Gant at bright yellow and black numeral number 7, the Mack Tools Buick out of the Ed Whitaker stable, trying to hold off Davey Allison.
Now Gant gets together a little bit with Joe Nemechek. He tries to move around him, does on the inside. Nemechek now gives him the room. I don't think Joe saw him coming there for just a moment. And they touch metal very briefly, no harm done.
Just 42 laps remain. The interval pretty steady between Gant and Allison. It was about 0.8 of a second just a couple laps ago. In our interval, we were clocking out of turn 4. And there comes Gant. We talked about the fact he had never won here. Davey Allison in Busch Grand National competition has never won in 77 starts. His 78th start, his best finish, a second-place finish at Rockingham back in 1986. Here's Dale Jarrett now getting a little bit of heat from Jeff Gordon. They will be battling for the 3rd spot. Jarrett currently in 3rd in the Chevrolet, the Interstate Batteries colors, and the Baby Ruth Ford of Gordon is 4th.
Yeah, Jarrett closed in on Allison there a little bit ago, Jerry, but now he's losing ground to Allison, and Jeff Gordon, as you say, is picking up ground on Jarrett.
Dale Jarrett, one of the 3 previous Bristol winners in the field today. He and Bobby Labonte and Rick Mass, the only 3 drivers starting today's race who had won in Busch competition up here.
Gordon's car, Benny said it was a little bit tight after this set of tires was put on it. The longer they run, the better that should be for him. And it might really, the track might come to him as the tires get heated up and worn in. And most of the time, that it does come to you a little bit and makes the car work a little bit better.
Yeah,
how about it, Benny?
Jeff Gordon has called his crew on the radio and told them he feels like the right front is worn considerably, and the pushing problem has caused that problem. So if the tire is worn out, obviously the pushing problem is going to get worse. But as you said, he looks like he's getting closer to Dale Jarrett. We'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, that's the other thing that could happen. It didn't look like that he was abusing that car that much. Jarrett now seems to have picked up the pace a little bit as he moves back up on Robert Presley. But if you can get by without abusing that right front tire and not wear it out, well, then a lot of times the track will sort of come to you and it'll get better. But maybe he has abused it more than we have seen.
Notice the reflection on these cars. No, the sun has not come back out. It's late in the evening here. We've had about a 4-hour delay for rain. They have turned the lights on here at Larry Carrier's facility. Beautiful half-mile high bank racetrack as Dale Jarrett now moves beneath Robert Presley's lap car. trying to keep some traffic between he and Jeff Gordon, and Gordon will make the move inside Presley.
Yeah, Presley, once he let one of them go, he was going to go ahead and let both of them go. That was the gentlemanly thing to do, and he knew that they were racing for position. And I think Presley's car is beginning to go away a little bit up there. I think his tires are getting worn pretty good right now.
Take a look at who's running with just about 32 laps to go. Harry Gant, our leader, the Mac Tools car. Ricky Craven started 29th. Not having a bad run, being shown 22nd right now. Joe Nemechek in the car number 87 back behind them. Texas Pete-sponsored Chevrolet. Second place car, Davey Allison, the Haviland Ford Thunderbird. About 12 car lengths back between he and Gant. Here's Ward Burton, the Gwaltney Buick. A.G. Dillard-owned car number 27. Dale Jarrett, the Interstate Battery Chevrolet. John Irvin prepared machine. In third spot behind him, that's Jeff Gordon, the Baby Ruth Ford Thunderbird. Bill Davis on the car. And there's last week's winner, Robert Presley. The Aligned Tractor Trailer Training Center's Oldsmobile. Daniel Welch on the machine.
And it's a pretty good piece back to the 08 car of Bobby Dotter. He's lost quite a bit of ground. He was up there battling a little bit earlier, and right behind him is the car 0 of Rick Mast, the Skoll entry. And then the 36 car, the current Busch Grand National point leader, being passed by Jimmy Hensley in car number 25. That Dirt Devil number 36 is Kenny Wallace, the current point leader in this series.
Here's the 5, Richard Lassiter, young man from Arkansas, driving for Sam Ard in the Pontiac. Car number 8. That's Jeff Burton out of South Boston, Virginia. And here's the last car on the lead lap, the Slim Jim Chevrolet, the defending champion of this event. Bobby Labonte, the defending series champion, Bobby Labonte. Behind him, Todd Bodine, who had such a great run going prior to having a problem making an unscheduled pit stop. That was Tom Peck behind Bobby Labonte, the car number 19, the Carroll 11 Racing machine. And here's former series champion, the Nescafe Classic Pontiac for Chuck Bound. That's Clifford Allison in the car number 9, Barry Owen Racing car. It's the same car they've run in every race this year as Harry Gant begins to move around him. Remember, Clifford had a great run here last spring, finished 6th overall, running the top 5 most of the day. And there's back our leader, Harry Gant.
And as we made that lap, Jerry, the only car that we missed was Mike Wallace, the car number 20, who Mike is currently being shown in the 13th position.
Less than 25 laps are made here at Bristol International Raceway, the 10th annual Budweiser 250. Can Harry Gant hold on? We'll answer that question and more when we come back. Here in the Grand National Budweiser 250, Harry Gant is holding on to the lead, a slim margin over Davey Allison, Dale Jarrett, Jeff Gordon, and a great run by Bobby Dotter.
Well, Harry Gant beginning to pull away a little bit now, Jerry, from Davey Allison. Last time we clocked him, he was 0.8 of a second ahead of Allison, but that margin has widened as they got into traffic. Gant got out of the traffic, sitting out there, as you can see, running by himself in the Mac Tools Buick, and he's able to run on the racetrack exactly where he wants to, and pulling away a little bit from Davey Allison.
This would be a very nice birthday present for his crew chief, who's from this area, Chris Carrier, who will be 32 years of age on Monday. Hoping to give his car owner, Ed Whitaker, their first win ever at Bristol in Busch Series competition. There's Davey Allison looking for his first ever Busch Series win of any kind in the Red Farmer prepared machine. That's out of the Allison Brothers Construction Stables. They built that car basically in a couple of weeks down in Kannapolis, or should say Salisbury.
Well, Jarrett beginning to close in a little bit on Davey Allison now, even though Jarrett's in traffic. Davey is definitely not running quite as fast as he was earlier. As we mentioned, Harry Gant is pulling away, and Jarrett's beginning to move in a little bit now.
This is Harry Gant's favorite car to run on the short track. He has won 3 in a row at Richmond, including the race this year up there. He won the season-ending race at Martinsville. And here's Dale Jarrett you're talking about. He's starting to pick up the pace a little bit.
And there has not been a repeat winner so far this year in Busch Grand National competition, and Harry Gant is one of the winners that we've had so far, so he might become the first repeat winner of the season. Several years ago, Jerry, they went like 13 different winners before anyone repeated in this series. There's always a lot of different winners. I think last year there were 13 different winners during the year. But one year they went like 13 races before anybody repeated.
Harry Gant, the winningest driver a year ago, getting 5 wins, 2 at Richmond, Dover, Charlotte, and Martinsville, the season-ending event. That's the interval back to Dale Jarrett in 3rd position in the Interstate Battery Chevrolet.
And Ward Burton in the Gwaltney entry is between Allison and Jarrett. Now, he's running real good right now, but he had a green flag pit stop, had some problems early in the race. He's being shown back in 18th position.
12 laps this time by remain in the Budweiser 250. Harry Gant the leader, but the battle now shaping up to be for 2nd spot between Davey Allison's Ford and the Chevrolet of Dale Jarrett. The interval once again. Down to 6/10 of a second. He's closing a 10th a lap. So in 12 laps, he should be able to do it.
Well, he's got time if he can maintain that kind of an advantage each lap. Harry Gant has pulled out to a pretty good lead in front of him. And Jeff Gordon, who is running 4th, has dropped pretty far back behind Jarrett.
Jarrett slipped that time coming out of turn 4. It cost him about 3/10 of a second, so we'll see if he's going to be able to do it. Here comes the 25 car. That's the Fishtail-sponsored Oldsmobile, the Don Beverly-owned car. That's the fastest car on the racetrack. That's Jimmy Hensley.
Yeah, he's flying. He lost a lap because of a miscue in the pits, or he would be up there fighting for the lead, Jerry, because the car has been fast all day for him. It's really too bad that Jimmy Hensley had that problem.
He is being shown that in 7th position. He is the first car off the lead lap. There are 6 cars on the lead lap. Bobby Labonte being in 6th spot. Hensley now being shown 7th. And he's going to run out of laps.
Yes, he is. It's unfortunate that he is going to run out of laps, but he is the fastest car on the track. He's running faster than Harry Gant, but he just doesn't have time to make up all that he needs to make up. I think Dale Jarrett has backed off now and decided to just try to finish down to 3rd place because Davey Allison has pulled away from him once again as Jimmy Hensley pulls up on Davey Allison. Hensley running the Hoosier tires. There's Gant, the leader, with Mike Wallace right on his back bumper. And here, the Bobby Daughter car passing Jeff Gordon. This is for 4th position. And he's turned up the wick a little bit on the car 08.
Bobby Daughter trying to improve on his best ever Busch Series finish, that being a 4th at South Boston last year.
And I think one thing that's happened here, those Hoosier tires are really coming in. Bobby Daughter might catch Dale Jarrett and pass him before this thing is over.
Word is from the pits that Dale Jarrett said his tires are going away, so he is backed out of the swath a little bit. But he can't back out too much, even though there's 6 laps to go. But Bobby Daughter looks like a man on a mission. There is Jarrett coming out of turn 4 in the 18, and Daughter less than 8 car lengths back.
Yeah, he's going to catch him. I don't know if he'll be able to pass him or not, but he doesn't have a lot of laps. But he is definitely running a lot faster than Jarrett is.
Remember how much trouble Daughter had passing a car earlier on the outside. Jarrett probably remembers that because he saw how much trouble Daughter was having on the high side of the track, and now Bobby Daughter has caught Dale Jarrett in turn 1 with 4 laps to go.
Well, Jarrett holding to the inside, but now Daughter's going to try to dip down on the inside, but he can't do it going into turn 3. He's going to have to do it up on the outside. Now he tries it up there, but he's been, as you said, having those problems up on the high side. He caught him in a hurry, Jarrett, but Jarrett sticking to the inside groove. That's what he should do. Now Daughter gets up on the outside. He might have him going down the backstretch. Jarrett gives him the room. Moves to the inside, gives Daughter the room up on the outside. Say, hey, you can pass me. Go ahead and do it up there on the outside.
It'll be white flag next time by. Bobby Daughter trying to take 3rd spot away from Dale Jarrett. The Gino's Pizza Snacks Minute Maid Drink Mix Oldsmobile. And Daughter, at 31 years of age, trying to get his best ever finish in Busch Series competition. Yes, Harry Gant has taken the white flag. We'll tell you what Harry Gant is in turn 2, but here's the battle. There's Gant, our leader, on the final lap. As Bobby Daughter now takes the 3rd spot away. Harry Gant enters turn 3. And looks like he should be able to coast to victory lane from here. As Jimmy Hensley now comes by on the inside, but all for naught as the checkered flag falls on Harry Gant. Harry Gant picked up his 20th career Busch Grand National victory. Dale Jarrett will finish back in 4th spot. You saw the car number 1 of Jeff Gordon in 5th. We mentioned Davey Allison in 2nd, and Bobby Daughter, an impressive run. Mike Hillman, the crew chief on that Oldsmobile, he gets his best ever series finish in 3rd. And Harry Gant picks up his first win at Bristol International Raceway, his 20th career Busch Grand National victory. And as you said, Ned, becomes the first repeat winner in Busch Series competition in 1992.
A little bit of damage on the right side of that car with all that close racing we saw going. That would hinder him to any degree, but you can see some of the paint scraped off on the right side. Most of those cars down there probably are missing a little bit of paint.
NASCAR, of course, requiring those cars to go straight to the gas pumps because weight is so critical on the short tracks. And I'm sure the crew for Harry Gant have got to be very happy. And one guy who's getting a birthday present. He's standing by with our John Kernan.
Things with the NASCAR. Your birthday coming up on Monday. Did Harry...
I didn't tell you nothing about it. After last week, we believe in jinxes now. So we didn't say nothing about it, but this will make a good Monday.
It turned out to be a pretty good run for a car with a carburetor that kept making it sputter in the corners.
Yeah, I don't know what was doing that. We'll take it apart and figure it out. I don't know whether a lot of times the floats will stick, and it could have been that it'd stick and then it quit and stick and it quit, but whatever it was there, didn't hurt us too bad toward the end. I just like to say thanks to Mac Tools and Scope Racing and Shields Electronics and also Aeronautical Accessories down here in Tiny Flats helped us out in this race. Some real good people. The Goodyear tires were just fantastic. They ended up beating the radials anyway, so thanks to all of them. These guys in the pits here and the guys that work on the car in the shop, just a super job. We've been trying for a long time down here.
Sounds like an Academy Awards acceptance speech.
Yeah, I tell you, it takes as many as it takes to make a movie here to make one of these cars win.
That's Chris Carey winning crew chief going over to victory lane and joining Harry Gant. His first Busch National win.
And a little bit of trouble with the mic. Apparently, the weather wreaking havoc with some of our microphones. And we're waiting for the one-handed push-ups down there as Harry Gant getting set to go to victory lane. A winner for the first time in Busch Series competition at Bristol. Back with more after this. Taking a look at our final results here, Ned. Harry Gant takes the victory. Davey Allison finishes second. Tremendous job by Bobby Donner to finish third. Dale Jarrett gets fourth, and Jeff Gordon finishes fifth. 6 through 10. Bobby Lamonti comes back to finish on the lead lap. Jimmy Hensley is 7th. Robert Presley 8th. Kenny Wallace 9th. And Joe Nemechek is 10th.
11th is Tom Peck. Chuck Bowen finishes 12th. Rick Mass 13th. Jeff Burton 14th. And Clifford Allison coming home in 15th place. 16th through 20th, Richard Lassiter, Mike Wallace, Ward Burton, Tracy Leslie, and Todd Bodine, who ran so good and then wound up in 20th place.
21st to 25th, Grissom, Ricky Craven, Butch Miller, Ken Schrader, and Dick Trickle. And rounding out the field, Jeff Green, Jimmy Spencer, Mike Porter, and the luckless Tommy Houston, who had trouble in the very first lap, which was not of his own doing. Our unofficial results here, a race record speed, average 92.929 miles an hour, a new record for Harry Gant, who has got to be happy, and he's standing by in victory lane with Benny Parsons.
Harry Gant, congratulations on a great victory.
Well, we're real pleased. The second half was better than the first half was, Benny. The track come to our suit, and the car handled good all day. We just had a bad missing problem with the carburetor in the corners. I guess it's the floats. But it works super on that wet track because you didn't need what power you had, so it worked. It saved my tires for me. And I couldn't ask for no better. I'll tell you, we're lucky today.
Make up for last week?
Oh, yeah, it makes up for last week. I can always look back. It's a new race tonight, and, then next week will be another, so you don't look back much. We had a good time out there running today. Had a lot of tight places there, but got me prepped good for tomorrow.
It's pretty nice to be able to get a nap during the middle of a race, right?
Yeah, I slept about an hour and a half, but I've been leading a race before and got out of my car, went under a tent, and got back in. I've never won, and I quit doing that.
Today,
I said I'm going to stay in the car. I've never got out, even leading a race, and got back in. I've never won when I've done that. So today, it worked. I stayed in the car and won. I say hello to everybody back home, Taylorsville, Steakhouse, Mom, Gene, all my sister and brother.
Okay, John Kearney is with Bobby Donner, who's our third-place finisher today. John?
Benny, talk about a young man who's very, very happy. Best career finish here on the Busch Grand National Circuit. And right there at the end, it seemed like your tires came in, or did the other guy's tires wear out?
Well, the other guy's tires wore out pretty much, but ours hung in there. I mean, I wasn't quite as fast as some of them for a few laps there, but we just never slowed down. The Gino's Pizza Snack Minute made Oldsmobile run perfect all day. I had a little bit of trouble with lap traffic, being one of the first times that I've run to the front to a win. A lot of guys I don't think realized that I was running there, and they weren't giving me the kind of room I would like to have had. But we got an excellent team. My crew chief Mike Hillman's just given me a great car to drive, and we got H&E engines, and they